there. Okay. So I'm calling the May 26th Greenway Committee meeting to order at 4:13. I apologize for being a little bit late. The first order of business is to approve the minutes from April, and I will move that if someone will second it.
I'll second.
And Larry seconds, and then moved and seconded. And any discussion? Did you find any problems with it? Issues?
Oh gosh, I read it so long ago now. I
That's-
don't remember anything, so.
Yeah, okay.
I wish I had some notes. Hold on a second.
That's fine.
I don't-
Just you don't have to worry about it too much. It's kind of just a formality. So if there's no discussion, then we can just vote to approve it. And just raise your hand, or Monica, just say aye.
Sorry, I'm making dinner.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so those were approved. And so the sidewalk policy, I see there were a couple of minor changes that were suggested at last night's planning board meeting, and I think that's probably going to be finalized and ready to go for their next planning board meeting. So we should have that soon, and then we can we'll know exactly how to refer to that in our document, and we would just add references.
The planning board is going to send it to the trustees, and then that would be the end of it, or the beginning of it.
Yes. They'll vote on it and then pass it on to the trustees, and we can vote on it too.
Yes, there was some issue with internal walkways.
Yeah.
Well-
Big issue, but
I mean, inside of other private properties? Or?
Yeah, like what is an internal walkway? How do we enforce it? When do we apply it? So we just sort of decided to like cut it out, because internal walkways, we're talking about like if a new subdivision were to come around. So that gets talked about anyway in site plan review. So we don't have to double it up with the code.
right.
The walkway, there are several that are the ones up by the new townhouses, not in East Point, but next East Point. Whatever.
Yes.
The
Lansing Trail.
Janivar, not Janivar, but Ivar Johnson's daughter's development. They have their own sidewalks and paved sidewalks. And that's the one where Monica's kids found a big gap. I sent the picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think, did we know why the fire hydrant interrupted? People can't work next to something.
Not sure.
But if you can't put a sidewalk, at least do a curb cut or something, so you don't like fall off the end of the sidewalk, right?
No, I think they probably both sides stopped because that fire hydrant had big dip there.
Mm.
And that,
It might be that they had to confirm with the fire department that hydrant is clear to go. So before they put the pavement there and then have to tear it up to replace something.
it's considerably lower than the sidewalk level.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. That's an issue that we can resolve once we find out for sure what the problem is. But I suspect it has something to do with an inspection by the fire department to make sure that it's formally accepted as a valid fire hydrant and ready to go. So then at that point we can work on whose responsibility it is to pave that last little stretch. The tree ordinance that is in progress also. Simon sent out the latest version, and we're going to discuss that, I think, at our next Board of Trustees meeting. That's on the 7th, I believe, of June. And so it might need some minor tweaks. I'm not sure Bill Troy has looked at it, but once that's done, then we will have that. It's going to be enacted as a local law that will go into our code, and then we can refer to it by its formal name after that. It'll be so those two, each of those would be become part of the code, and we can refer to them within our Greenway plan update.
The tree ordinance has all of these regulations about number of trees and width and measuring from the ground up and.
Yeah, trees per acre, number of inches.
Caliper, more caliper than height.
Yeah.
Caliper.
Yeah, it's caliper of the tree at a certain height, depending upon the age of the tree, and a certain total diameter of all of the trees within an acre must be 100 inches or more, etc. So no, it looked like a pretty well written, but I would like to have Bill Troy look at to see if there's anything related that might hamper us enforcing any of it. So it's always good to get Bill's input on that. Okay, I am going to share my screen. Okay, so these are our tasks. I took a first pass at a new introduction, very first pass. So we'll need to read through that, and it's just sort of updated information. Changed. I completely rewrote it, but used some information from the first version into the second, and we'll just take a look at that as we review the entire document. But that's started. We've got changes. They're in review. Sidewalk, it's in review. Okay, so the lime green striping for pedestrians, etc.
Yeah, I think I looked at. I think I finished all of those.
Yeah, we've got some of those in there.
Yeah.
There might be questions, so I think that our next step is going to be a formal review of it. For the maps, that is, Larry and I were working on that this week. The map right now is to me is more informational if it's online. So I'm wondering if within the document we need to just point to that map. Otherwise, we're just printing out certain segments of it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be if it's going to once we put it into print, it's going to be fairly small and hard to read, I'm afraid.
Yeah, the whole map would be.
Yeah, because it's got everything on it. It has layers for the our signs and the flower pots, flower boxes. Sorry, it will have the sidewalks and trails as a layer, and it's got a layer for the parks. So it's looking pretty good. Let me see if I can get into that and show it to you.
I'm wondering if I have it already here.
This is the map that I did a copy of. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the map. The current title is I made a copy, so I left it that name. So when we're looking at it, we'll know that it's a copy from Larry's original. But basically, there are layers in the map, and if you click on a layer, then they'll show you, and then there's also a list within that layer that can be highlighted, and it shows you where they are. And Larry did a good job of putting titles and descriptions on there. There's also one for our sidewalks and pathways.
Can you zoom in a little closer there?
Yeah, I will do that. Okay, so let's see. That's that pretty much gets all of them.
You zoom in there by the entrance to Tops, and you can see the issue there. You can see, there you go, Monica.
Yeah.
And now, Ronnie, can you switch to the satellite view and we'll see what, this looks like it's okay, right? They look pretty good. If you switch to your base map to satellite, you'll suddenly see they're right in the middle of the street. See that? Because the street now is the same width all the way down. It doesn't go and split. So you see how they're off, and the orange line should follow that white line diagonally. See?
Oh, I see.
See that?
Yeah.
So I'll fix all that once I make a copy I'll clean this up a little bit and they'll be more accurate. Like you see on Trip Hammer Road are pretty accurate, but some of the little ones are not.
Right.
So yeah, you'll pull that up there. Pull it. No, that's that. No, that's the green one, Ronnie. Pull it up to the diagonal one.
Oh.
Do you see the line diagonally from the back is the orange one behind the hotel?
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that's the orange one. See that? So at the end, you have to pull that back end up to that other where it crosses the street.
Yeah, it's got segments in it now.
Yeah,
so
I'll do that. I'll do that because I hadn't realized I could get that satellite view. So then the green one is the one, the bottom one that curves around.
Yeah, there's one here.
Yeah, see it? They're right side by side in some places. So I'll fix all that this week.
Okay.
And after I make the copy.
Okay.
So this is in Google Maps. So if someone wanted to see this, we can just tag it on the website and they can just go.
Yeah, that's what Ronnie was suggesting.
Right. I can share once we get it finished, we can share it publicly. Mm-hmm. And people can't really edit it unless they copy it to their own Google Maps space and then work on it there. But they can see what we have worked on. So that's sort of what we've been working on this week.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's pretty easy to see it though with the beige, and you can see how old the Google Maps from space are. Sometimes you get my house without solar panels, and the panels have been there since 2016.
Right. It's yeah. They don't even show the park.
Yeah, they haven't shown the park yet.
I kind of had to finagle the park paths.
Yeah.
Trails and so forth.
Yeah, I'll check that out once we put the park on it. And the other thing, like Norway up here, the little hook up at the top. Yeah. That road on Google Maps isn't even there. It's not even paved. It's just a track with bulldozer tracks. The Norway as it curves around at the bottom there.
Right.
So if you look at the if you go to take a look at your space view again and see what it looks like. Oh, okay, this one has the road on it. Okay, at least there's the road. No houses. No new townhouses. East Point is not there.
Yes, it wasn't there.
Yeah, they have the roads, interestingly, but not the picture.
Right, and there's actually a trail that comes out and around.
Yep, and goes over to close
to
our
lake. What's this dog park? Do we have a dog park we don't know about?
They have a small dog park over here.
That's Northwoods.
South of East Point.
That Northwoods Park? I think it's a Northwoods Park, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, for Northwood dogs.
There's a little dog park in there.
And our new park is right there where your hand is now.
Yes.
The athletic park or whatever we want to call it.
I think that let's see, I've got that here.
You have it on, yeah, you have it on the park. There it is.
Yeah. I did a slightly different color than
yeah, I noticed that.
The others, so that it would. I was just calling it the fitness park.
Yeah.
And but it's I need to figure out how to get that trail in.
Yeah, link the trails.
I've got pictures from the trail on my phone, but I haven't been able to find any kind of a online map that shows it.
So there's already a trail through this area?
Yes, it kind of goes down this way, then curves over.
Yeah. And then we can see it there. There's a walking trail. You can see it in the green. That's probably it, right? I'll have to walk
there. Yeah, it might be. It's really hard to tell because without the buildings there.
Yeah. I think that these roads are not accurate either, are they? Because East Point's a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, the roads. I don't believe the roads are accurate. Yeah. That's just kind of an indication.
I'll go over there and walk that again, and I haven't walked through East Point yet, so.
I have an app that if you go through and walk, it will give you, it will show your path.
Oh yeah.
I need to do that probably sometime. there's a bench that's out in here somewhere where it stops just
Yeah.
past the dog park. It
Yeah,
just
they have
kind
a
of
swale. They have a big swale back there somewhere, right? The whole
Yes.
west edge is a swale.
There's a swale back on this
Mhm.
side. But without a good satellite map, it's hard to draw it in.
Yeah. Mhm.
So we're well on our way to see if I can get back to my test. So my concern, and you can tell by looking at that map, that it would be hard to put that onto a printed page and have
Yeah.
it mean anything. Everything would be very small. So
Will it be,
it might be, we just refer to it in the document as the final link for the publicly shared map that's got all of the layers and explain what the layers are, et cetera.
Are we can,
print the
if we
map.
get it, in good shape, we should be able to take out those close-ups of the parks and use those in the other appendix, the park appendix.
That is possible.
And if we are we going to put in the amenities, like where the benches are?
Well, we were doing that for the last version. We can decide if we want to do that this time or not. I think it's a good idea. I mean, it's just to have it listed, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure how many people would really use it. They're going to go to the park and then see the amenities.
Yeah.
So that's a decision for us to make, whether we want to put that in or recommend that it be left out. It would make it easier to, because we can actually go into the description on that map and add the amenities on the map we were just looking at, and within the description, and just say, here are the amenities, and people could look at it online. But
I've got several of them already written down.
we don't have to worry about printing it and making sure we can update the online version at any time.
Yeah.
This change is made. Google Maps, obviously, anything with the maps that we're still in progress. These changes have been made.
Are you? We can't see the. I don't see the spreadsheet. Right
Oh,
now.
you don't? Oh,
Do you see it, Monica?
No.
No,
Okay,
we see a gallery view right now.
let me bring this down and reshare that again. Sure. Now, can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay, so
So maybe you can only have one screen share. Canceled your other share out.
It's possible, but you're looking at the spreadsheet now, so that's all.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what we're looking at.
Mhm.
So I basically was just moving down through here. Completed. Monica completed the marked bikeways. These are completed. The Friends of Information. I still need to work out a list of the responsibilities that we want to share with people who might be interested, and we've got to run that through Bill too, so that the village is not responsible for something, an accident, if something happens by accident to someone. So I've kind of started that list, but it's not reviewed or anything. I'd like to have Bill review that. Let's change. Tree bank policy we discussed. The more benches, I haven't heard from John the progress on ordering those. I don't believe they've been ordered yet, but they are in the budget. It's just a matter of getting the order placed with the supplier, and then within 6 weeks or 8 weeks after that, we will receive benches. So,
How many new benches are we looking at?
5 or 6. It kind of depends upon the price. If we can get a good price, and as I've said before, if we want to, we can, in certain areas, order smaller benches, 4 feet instead of 6 feet, and get more benches, and it would just be a smaller length. So that's a possibility. Oh, the signs. I meant to go by and take a picture of that sign while I was out at lunch today, and I completely forgot about it with the
Oh,
rain.
I have, did I send it around? I went to, where I train at, Dankert Park, and there's a list of park rules, Village of Lansing Park rules. I have that document. I got it from Jody. So there is already a whole prepared list of rules for the park.
Okay, all we're looking for is so we can standardize the wording.
Yeah, and I took out, took out, I went through it and took out sort of, or emphasized the ones that are relevant to walking and pathways. So we can make a shorter version probably.
Right.
Just a matter of
Right.
how to condense it in what kind of sign we want to put it on.
I agree. It's for that and for about pets, litter. There's a sign over the trail that comes off of Churchill Drive and Wise.
Yeah.
Wise off to Lansing Trails or goes over to Northwoods.
Yeah, behind Swathart bus.
There's a sign right there that might work. That's what I was going to take a picture of. It's a metallic sign.
Mm-hmm.
So it might do some of it. So I will go by and get that picture, and then once I do, I'll send it to everybody, and we can look at it. Maps. I have not researched the regional resources. I know that Cornell has a map base. Finger Lakes Trails also. I would like to get in those two at least, but there might be others from the county side too. So once I've identified those, we can place them within this document, and just to let future Greenway committees know who to notify if there are changes to those to the additional resources outside of just the village. And at the same time, we will, once we finish this document, I will add some information on the new residents page that for the Greenway and all the park resources. So that will be done outside of this actual document. In the standing committee, I've written a resolution, and I'm going to try to get it on our next trustees meeting to have a vote on us being a standing committee. I think it's a good idea. I don't think I'll get much pushback. They're already looking at, for instance, for the tree ordinance. We are to help enforce that. So in order to be able to do that, we sort of have to be a standing committee to address any future needs. So I don't think there'll be a significant pushback. Town trails connectivity. I talked with Ed Levine today at lunch about those trails. He agrees. He's with me. Also thinks it might be hard to get easements for such trails because it would be fairly long, go through a lot of different properties. But we do want to work on that in the future and get something done. We might not have anything for this version, but it's something that we will put down as potential plans for.
Where were you thinking about connecting them?
Well, I'd like to see a trail on the east side of the village going up into the town, and a trail on the west side going up into the town. And his concern is maintenance of anything that's paved. It might have to be a crushed stone surface, but I don't know how that would work with bicycles.
I mean, honestly, pavement requires a lot less maintenance than crushed stone or mulch because you have to keep adding it. Where paving, you just, you get a machine, you seal it. It's like really not a big deal. So I feel like paving, and paving the path, I feel like it might be more upfront cost, but I think it's less maintenance in the end. If that's what he's worried about. So
I agree, but he seemed to think that a crushed stone easement might be easier to get than a pavement easement. Because a pavement easement is very permanent, but a crushed stone is not. So that was his basic comment.
Yeah.
So it's something we'll need to look at in the future. But that's one of the kind of joint projects the town and the village would like to work on to get that done. We probably won't do both at the same time, but I think it would be nice to have one that comes down sort of the Trip Hammer path, and another one that kind of goes the East Shore Drive, the path, so it can go two different directions.
Where do, I haven't seen a map of the Lansing trails. Do they have one themselves? The town of Lansing.
They probably have a fairly good idea. They're working with a contractor to go through some, what they're looking at right now is the long-term, planning and maintenance of their parks. So they're going through an exercise with a third-party contractor to gather information, create maps, and make plans for future park amenities and trails, etc. I'll see if I can find the link for what exists currently and forward that on to you.
Okay.
And I've got emails from them, and some of them have links, but I just can't recall. We were working online through their system in some of the meetings to talk about where we thought trails were, and they were going to go out and confirm the trails, but I haven't heard anything since that point.
You're working with their own, is that their Greenway?
They have a Parks and Trails committee that's looking at this, and they're guiding it. I'm the village representative for that. It's mostly focused on town, but I've let them know that at some point we would like to add trails between the two municipalities. And but it's not part of the formal plan yet because we don't have any path. It's just that they're going to put that down for future consideration. And CJ is working on that, so she's good at keeping them corralled and on point. So she's aware of this.
CJ, is that their town? Who is CJ?
CJ Randall. She works for the county as a planner, and she's also now a full-time planner for the town of Lansing. And they are getting ready to hire a second full-time planner. So in the summary, I haven't really started the summary yet. I will work on that before our next meeting. Basically, it's just going to restate everything that we've got in the document, be like an executive summary. Very similar to what we have now, but will be updated. So we've made the next few changes. They're in the document. Another park that's in work. The Marion Hartill trails we will have. And there's that new trail that connects Marion Hartill over to the
I think they're just on the couch because I
Churchill Trail. And that's in the map too. Flower boxes.
So we have that.
It's in work. And this is in work. So we're pretty much, I think we're ready for a formal review of the document. We need to start dropping things in and looking at it from beginning to end and making sure that we've got everything. So why don't we work finishing getting all of our individual tasks done, maps specifically. I'll work on the summary, and then I can send that. Then I can just say, let's start a formal review with the online document, and people can write in comments, and we'll look for things that might be missing or unclear, and we'll start clarifying those, and then check off it section by section when we're complete, and that way we'll know when the entire document's through too. And we'll try to get all of this done between now and the next meeting, and hopefully we can discuss the weaknesses or findings from our review at the next meeting. Does that sound good?
Okay. Right now, I see on 11, these landscaped areas. Those are those little places like the corner of Tops and all of those. Okay, we should add those to the map somehow, I suppose.
Okay.
As a separate layer, we won't need to look at them so much, but I'll put them on as a separate layer.
Okay. Yeah, and you don't have to. Yeah, and when you make a layer, share it with me.
Yeah.
And I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
And I know some of them, but we might not have captured all. And maybe
Yeah,
we can
that's
get
what I'm wondering.
Lynn to look at them too. She
Yeah.
knows a lot more places than I do. So we can ask her to take a look at the
Yeah,
map too.
okay, I'll contact Lynn about it when I try to get that done.
Yeah, we have some areas right in front of on Trip Hammer going into the mall. There's
Mhm.
also the landscape area around the Village Hall,
Yep, okay.
and that's beyond the park landscaping. The park
And
landscaping.
the one that we put it on there, but the one that apparently the bank is taking care of their own, that one, but that's still village land, right?
Or I believe it is, but the bank's maintaining it.
Yeah.
And so just want to let you know, I don't know if you heard, at the planning board meeting, we decided the McGuire trees, there's like 13 trees or 12 spruce trees that they were supposed to plant on the land, but there was like misunderstanding. So they couldn't plant them. So we wanted them planted somewhere else. And now they're still just sitting there. And so we decided just to get them delivered to the DPW and
Okay.
figure out where they're going to go. And if John is willing to plant them, although there was some talk about getting out shovels at this point because we're just frustrated about the trees. So yeah, the only thing with those trees is that they'll probably die maybe in a couple of years because they're very susceptible to this disease that's coming through.
The more mature they get, the more susceptible they are to that disease. They are.
I can't remember any of the names. So
I can't remember the. I can't remember the.
Sorry, the notes. But anyway, so like that. So maybe if we're gonna plant them, we should probably plant them not in important places. Just in case, right? Just like for like maybe some buffer or something in the background, but not like as a specimen tree.
Right.
It might look really ugly in like 3 years.
Maybe
not. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's questionable. When I first read the comments about the trees, I thought that they were, in a couple of years they would die. But then I heard later that another landscaper said that the more mature they are, the more susceptible they are. But with some regular treatment, annual treatment, they could go on for a good while. But I sort of agree not to necessarily put those in the park, but maybe we need some buffer trees right around the village hall. And someone was asking for buffer trees between the mall and Shannon Park. So if we can find a way to use them there, we might be able to.
You mean at the back entrance?
Yeah, to kind of make a line of trees between the mall and the Shannon Park residents that back up to the mall. So we're kind of looking into that informally. That's just within the last couple of days.
I don't think we have any land between them, do we? We don't have any land there, do we?
No, the only easement we have is over a sewer line, and we can't plant there. Yeah. So we can try talking with the mall owners and say.
I understand that because you can't see those houses from the. You can hardly see anything from the mall parking lot. You walk along there.
Right, but the residents can see the mall. So they had heard early on. Someone started a rumor way back when that there were going to be trees there as a block, and so I've been doing some research. I can't find anything about it, but when we start, the mall is at some point going to look at making the mall appear better. We can say, could we get some trees planted back there along that loop road that might block some of that, but we'll just have to wait and see. Probably it won't. I guess that's too far away to
I guess the problem is that we have to plant the trees now.
Soon.
So
yeah, right now.
How about
it's already kind of too late, so we got to do it as soon as possible. So might not have time. I mean, from what my impression of the mall representatives were, based on the planning boards and the making of the new lots and stuff, I think they'd be very amenable. If we just like shot them an email or whatever, you call them and say, hey, we have these free trees. Could we plant them here? I mean, I don't think they would have an issue, honestly. I would be surprised. Unless it was like in one of the water issue areas or someplace where they had to dig. But otherwise, I don't think they would care.
Who are you talking about?
The mall.
No,
see if the mall owners would let us, if we didn't have any appropriate places for these trees, these hemlocks, to maybe allow us to plant a few back there as
These
potential.
are hemlocks or beech? I thought somebody said birch.
No, I mean, I just made that up because I can't remember any names.
They're hemlocks.
Well, I was wondering where the birch trees came
Yeah, that was it's an
That's-
evergreen.
It took me a while to remember it also, and I've been talking for
from.
years.
I thought we were talking about different trees, and
after the day I've had today, I'm surprised I remember my own name. So
Yeah,
okay. I don't know where they're talking about seeing the mall from Shannon Park. I wonder if it's the apartments, not the residential area where I think of Shannon Park as the subdivision where Jerry lives, but you don't remember that there's a whole townhouse section of that PDA at the back. So that might
yeah, over on the southeast corner.
I
another
can
place.
really sadly say I've never been there.
Yeah.
I should really just drive out. Like I've never been to Shannon Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've lived here for 20 years.
Yeah.
Never been to Shannon Park.
So I'll go check out along there and find out. But another place might be on the west side of west and south corner by the swale in Harthill Park. When you're up on the soccer field and it drops off, that whole side is just empty.
It's
Easy
possible.
access.
I don't know how susceptible hemlocks are to moisture.
Yeah,
And
well, they love moisture. The problem there is that there'd probably be too much sun unless we back them up to the other trees.
Right, they got
If
close so
they-
that it gets, yeah.
Yeah.
But along the trail going to Harthill Park from Dark Drive, where the Laura Beers are, they're pretty open, and it may be nice to put a couple trees there so you don't look right into their backyard when you walk by. Too.
Yeah, they wanted something. I thought that they had picked another type of plant, but nothing ever happened. I don't know what happened. Like they had worked out something with John, and I don't know what. It seemed to have just stopped, so I don't know why. But yeah, that's another possible place. We could put one or two in there. And it's not very it's not very sunny. And
No, it would be, I think, like the best place for them, actually, is what they
Right
like.
now, that's mostly pines back in there.
John and his crew are pretty good about figuring out where the trees could go. So I would pretty much trust them, but we'll try to find out for sure where they go.
Do you think, John, like, I'm afraid to even ask him this because he's gonna like be like, you're crazy. But so right at the foot of the trail to Harthill Park, every year milkweed grows. And it's an ugly weed. It's not a pretty thing. It looks like a weed, but that's where all the monarch caterpillars are. And he mows them down every year. And I understand because they're ugly, but like,
I think they look great, but yeah.
yeah. And so like, I was just wondering if I can ask him just to not trim that section back. Do you think I was crazy?
Well, you're talking about where the trail actually enters into Dark Drive.
Yeah, at that very beginning, that little curve there. There's like a ton of milkweed.
The reason he's doing that is he's concerned that someone walking or riding a bike on that trail cannot see traffic if that's growing. And they're going to go out into traffic and not realize that there's a car almost there.
They don't grow that high, though. I guess they get pretty high.
Yeah, they get pretty dense.
Yeah, they get chest high.
My kids always cry every year. They're like, oh, look, it's the milkweed. And then it's like, no milkweed.
I wonder
caterpillars.
Well, is there any chance, I wonder if there's any chance that we could transplant that back farther into the trail?
Maybe. I mean, again, John, I'm probably going to think I'm crazy. Can you transplant this weed?
Well, take the seed pods.
Yeah, scatter them.
And just take them someplace and spread them out.
But it's funny, they only grow by the road, because I have some in front of my house by the road, but they're not like in the woods, because I've looked.
They like the sun.
Weird.
They won't
Like
grow.
So it needs to be a sunny spot. And that's why they like to
put
grow.
them back behind.
I mean, that's like really not it was just like, every time we see them, I cry every year. They calm down.
Well, no, it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile talking to John about that. That's
save the butterflies.
No, I can broach the subject to say, we hate to see that cut down because of the monarch caterpillars there. Yeah. And could we find a sunny spot where we maybe could transplant that?
Maybe he's just mowing all the way down. He only needs to mow the first 3 or 4 feet for people to see. He doesn't need to mow all the way down the length of it.
But I think they're only the first 3 or 4 feet, then they stop.
Yeah, okay.
So that's yeah. And I get it. I got like safety first before the butterfly.
His concern would be if a child is walking there, and they'll be the first ones to run ahead of their parents and
My
maybe
children.
not see a car coming. And
No,
Yeah,
that
I
would be
think
my
that's the
children.
reason. But we could definitely.
I mean, maybe once the sidewalk, which side is the sidewalk going
So,
on?
yeah, it's that side. I was gonna say.
It's
that
going to
that's
be
all
on
gonna
that
change.
side.
It's
So
all
maybe
gonna-
then you won't need it so much and he can keep them. So maybe in subsequent years we might get to keep them.
Is he
Yeah,
planning
if it could be moved back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
where it
yeah,
comes together?
yeah, that's the side for the sidewalk.
So where it comes together, is he gonna, they could put a railing there so that you can't, at the T, where it comes together, the sidewalks come together, it'd be a good idea to put a railing right there so that you can't ride a bicycle. You get to the T, you have to go around something.
Oh, I see, like a split rail
Yeah.
corner or something.
Yeah, or one of those corrugated rails or something. That would be
I
really
see.
natural to have something there.
Well,
So-
I guess we'll see once the sidewalk goes in, what it
Yeah,
looks
that's what I'm
like
saying.
and
Once
how
they
it,
get
how
the
it
T there.
functions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
once we get the T there, we'll see what the,
Yeah.
natural answer or solution is.
Well, the other thing that I hope to have there is a crosswalk.
Yeah, that's great.
Funny that. So that would alert cars, and I don't know if it would alert pedestrians.
Oh, great news. Speaking of, when we had our yard sale on Saturday,
Uh-huh.
a police officer pulled over a speeding car on Dart Drive. And we were all cheering. And then he drove by. I was like, thank you. So someone got a ticket.
Have you never seen that happen before?
No, it's so rare.
Very rare. Very rare.
He picked a good time. Maybe he did it because he knew a lot of people were.
I'm like the person out there like this. Slow down.
Yeah, they're straight across from Laura Beer's place where the path comes out. We also own a path that goes all the way to the right of way of 13. And across along behind the 13 there for some reason. I don't know what. It looks like an access where you'd have a bridge over to Dankard Park.
Yes, Deborah and I have talked about that. If maybe somewhere down the road we could build a pedestrian bridge over and see if we can get a grant to pay for that.
Well, if Biden's infrastructure plan goes through, maybe there will be some funds, right?
Yeah,
Infrastructure.
Learn from them what works. The big concern right there is all of the trucks that go through there. We'd have to have a very high bridge.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it would have to be high.
But
it's-
you can also sell it that it could be like a animal, like a deer and squirrel and
I
whatever.
want
So,
the deer to get hit.
but it might be safer because they'll probably, they can go that way instead too.
So when the
Well, yeah,
sidewalk
but-
gets in, that we can look at that and even like you're saying, Ronnie, consider how to put a crosswalk. If you put a crosswalk right there at the T, people are going to walk right out, and it would be better to have the crosswalk west or east of that, I'll bet, something like that.
Right. The roadway is going to be narrowed by 6 feet when they put in the sidewalk.
3 on each side.
Or
Or
6 on
6
one
feet
side.
on one side.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's, I think that, well, I can't say for sure, who knows. But I'm hoping by narrowing the street, we will reduce traffic speed, because right now it just looks like a wide open racetrack.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting speed humps too, right? We're doing those tables or whatever.
Well, what John and I were discussing was we're going to reduce the width of the road, see what traffic does. And if they are still speeding, we will look at placing those speed tables in. The problem with the speed table, something that I hadn't thought about, is that Dart Drive slants down. And if you've got a speed table, one
yeah.
side's going to be long and the other side's going to be short. And he's not sure what that will do to traffic flow when they come up the short side and go down the long.
Fly off the long side.
And yeah, it said at that point it becomes a ramp. So,
Yeah.
It's,
My child will be riding his bike up there.
Kids love it.
and it could be a
That's a good point.
skateboarding nightmare. I don't know. It's because when I think of the road, I think of it straight, but we all know that there's no way that's a level. This is a level street. It's
You're
just
gonna have bullet cars flying going east or west, would be flying off those ramps.
that brings back memories.
Interesting. I never thought of that. I
San
never
Francisco
thought to
race.
notice. They're always on flat.
Yeah, that's why we have John. He thinks of these things. But not about the monarch, but about ramps.
He's all about streets. But if we do have to do traffic calming, we will look at that and see what we can do. And one of those humps, a natural place for that hump is right there, and have a crosswalk painted on top of it. So there's a lot of moving pieces for that.
Yeah, even if we had one hump, doesn't have to be a lot of them. That would slow traffic down anyway, and it would make it less desirable to cut through the road.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying that's kind of a good spot right there, because there's a reason to slow down besides just a table.
I mean, I could throw my chickens out into the road and see what happens too. So.
Roadkill is what I think would happen. It's just, if that's the way you want to use your chickens,
for the good of the neighborhood.
Okay, well, we got a plan for this next month. Let's get all the little pieces put together. Monica, I don't think you've got anything necessary that you still have to do.
All right, good.
Be prepared be prepared to help us review when that's ready. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Okay, thank you. And I let Lynn know that this will be coming too. So she's just out of town today, so she couldn't join us. So unless there's something else we need to discuss, we can adjourn the meeting.
Okay.
I move to adjourn.
Okay. Thank you. And let's all vote by saying goodbye. Thank you both.
Bye. I'll try to get that done, Ronnie, with the layering and change the sidewalks.
And I'll be glad to help you, just like we've been doing. It's been a learning experience, and I've appreciated it. So we'll make it good. All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.